that's fine.
To find it.
Just a minute, Jeff. Just a minute.
Good morning. Welcome. My name's Jeff White, and I serve on your Fellowship Board of Directors. I want to thank you all for being here today, and I extend a special welcome to any visitors. And if you'd like more information about the Fellowship, please visit the welcome table in the fireside room, or you can sign our virtual guest book at uufa.org/guestbook. And whether you're joining us from home or here in Fellowship Hall, we invite you to stay after the service for coffee fellowship, where you can introduce yourself and join in conversation with kindred spirits. We have a couple of announcements. Starting tomorrow and going on for 4 Mondays, Karen Bates will lead a Tai Chi class in the fireside room at 1:30. No experience is needed, so if you're intrigued, come and check it out. 1:30, Mondays. Have you marked your calendars for the annual meeting yet? It'll be Sunday, December 8th at 11 a.m. right here in Fellowship Hall or on Zoom. So we'll need a larger quorum than usual due to anticipated bylaw changes. So plan to join us, please. So on behalf of this caring, nurturing congregation, I welcome each and every one of you to this sacred space. Here we invite you to an experience of transformation, hope, renewal, and connections, which may inspire you to understand life in new ways. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Jeff.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning we shall learn to lead in love.
These are the words of the Reverend Angela Herrera. Don't leave your broken heart at the door. Bring it to the altar of life. Don't leave your anger behind. It has high standards, and the world needs vision. Bring them with you, and your joy, and your passion. Bring your loving and your courage and your conviction. Bring your need for healing and your powers to heal. There is work to do, and you have all that you need to do it, right here in this room. Come, let us gather in fellowship. Our words for our chalice lighting. The part of us that is not all right is also the part that loves the light. We light this chalice in holy rage and sacred tender hope, knowing that both will be necessary in the world to come. And now, as you're willing and able, please rise as you wish and join in singing hymn 108, My Life Flows On in Endless Song.
Or young at heart who would like to come up and gather on our blue carpet. Hi, good morning, good morning. We don't have a book today. I'm just going to talk a little bit. I thought we'd just chat a little. You may know that some of the adults in your life don't feel so good. Some people don't feel so good. Maybe you don't feel so good some days. Maybe some days you're worried about things. Maybe some days you really want something a lot, and you work for it, and you think it's the right thing to have, and you really, 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 really want it, and then you don't get it. And that makes us pretty sad, doesn't it? Yeah. A lot of people in this room are pretty sad because we worked really hard for something, and we didn't get it. You guys have probably been hearing some about the election, and you may know that your grown-ups, yeah, Trump won. Yeah. That's not the outcome that many of us wanted. But some people that we have in our families, in our extended families, maybe did want that outcome. And so it's really hard to figure out what to do when we think something is absolutely right and somebody that we care about doesn't agree with us. That's hard. And I think what I want to say is that it's okay if we're going through hard times. It's okay if we feel confused and anxious and worried. But here's the thing. Your grown-ups, I promise you that your grown-ups, their job is to keep you safe and healthy and fed and watered. Are you drinking lots of water? Drink more water. You'll feel better. Drink more water. You'll feel better. It's okay when our grown-ups and the people that are in charge are a little bit anxious and worried too. But their job, our job, we grown-ups, our job is to create safe space and brave space where we can feel all our feelings and be in community together. That's really an important thing, and it's one of the things that I like best about coming to the UU Fellowship of Ames. Now, I may have told you this before, but I'm going to say it again because here's a trick that I use when I feel anxious and worried. And you can do it anytime, anywhere. And this is not just for the young ones, it's for everybody. You can use this anytime or anywhere. It's 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It's pretty easy, right? I try to get myself still and quiet and think of 5 things I can see. So right now, it would be a room full of people. That's 1. And young people here in front of me. That's 2. A candle. That's 3. Some flowers. That's 4. And my yellow stole. That's 5. Any 5 things you can see. 4 is 4 things you can touch. So they can be the same things as before. This carpet feels kind of nubby. This feels smooth and hard. This feels soft. What's that, 3? My hair feels a little crunchy. 4 things you can touch. 3 things I can hear if I get really quiet. I can hear a little rustling. I can hear somebody's feet on the floor. I can hear laughter. I can hear you beating on the carpet a little bit. I can hear my breathing. Oh, that was 4 things. 3, it doesn't matter. I'm focusing on the things that are right around me. 2 things that I can smell. My lotion from this morning. This flower. I could if I got my nose up there. 2 things that you can smell, and 1 thing that you can taste. I kind of taste my coffee. Maybe you taste the toothbrush that you had this morning, toothpaste you had. It doesn't matter what they are, but we can quiet ourselves, any one of us, anytime. You can be in class doing this. Don't do it if you're playing softball and the ball is coming right at you. It might conk you on the head, but almost any other time, we can do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It helps me and maybe it'll help you too. Okay? Don't worry. We're holding safe and brave space. And if you do worry, it's okay. Okay? Hey, we're going to sing you out to class. That'll be a thing we hear, right? Okay. Thanks.
We will now give and receive the offering. Please know that this morning, half of the non-pledge offering will be donated to the Iowa Wildlife Center as selected by our religious education children in grades K through grade 8. Every year, thousands of birds and other animals in our state are orphaned, injured, sickened, or displaced, often due to human activity that takes its toll. Windows, vehicles, cats, toxins, power lines, habitat clearing, and increasingly dangerous storms due to the climate crisis. The Iowa Wildlife Center provides medical and rehabilitation care and wildlife assistance training, and they teach about wildlife and habitat stewardship. The other half of our offering will support programs here in our fellowship that make this a community of inspiration, transformation, and belonging. We'll pass the basket here in Fellowship Hall, but alternately for those at home or those here with a cell phone, you can go today to uufames.org give to make your contribution today. And if you're visiting today, please know that your presence here is gift enough.
This is the sound of one voice, one spirit, one voice, the sound of one who makes a choice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of one voice. This is the sound of voices too. The sound of me singing with you, helping each other to make it through. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices too. This is the sound of voices three, singing together in harmony, surrender into the mystery. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of voices three. This is the sound of us,
Oh, beloveds. Oh, each week we take time to be still and quiet together, to recognize that our lives are connected one to another, to share our joys, and there are still joys, and our sorrows, and oh, there are sorrows. As we do this, we are reminded of the value of a moment of stillness. We are reminded that our lives are connected one to another, that as we share our joys, they are multiplied. And as we share our sorrows, we do not have to bear them alone. Oh, thank goodness we do not have to bear them alone. We are the sound of one voice. We are the sound together of healing and hope. Today, millions of us are hurting. Millions of us are surprised and mad and sad and angry and confused and frustrated. All the things that are inside us. Tired, just bone flippin' tired. That's okay. We are here together in that. There are millions, billions, billions around the world who worry and grieve with us the ramifications of global interconnected governments. We grieve for the planet. We grieve for all of it. Bring your grief here, let it be present. And know that you do not hold it alone, that we are able to feel these things. And even if we think the emotions will swamp us and we won't be able to rise back up, we will. We are allowed to feel all the feelings without putting a pretty face on it. That's part of why I come here. That's part of why we come here. And there is joy in the world. Those beautiful ginkgo trees outside, I can't get enough of them. The beauty of music, of voices, tight harmony, of young musicians, of family musicians, of creating something here together that wasn't here before. That is joy. That is joy. Into our silence together, I invite you to lift up the names of any folks that you are holding particularly close on your heart today. It can be an individual, it can be a group, it can be whatever you need to say out loud into this sacred and holy space. Trans folks. We practice together opening the muscle of our heart wide, knowing we can hold the pain and the joy as we practice that together. Let's sing.
Stirrings of compassion,
The Second Coming by William Butler Yeats. Turning and turning in the widening gyre, the falcon cannot hear the falconer. Things fall apart. The center cannot hold. Mere anarchy is loosed upon the world. The blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. The best lack all conviction, while the worst are full of passionate intensity. Surely some revelation is at hand. Surely the second coming is at hand. The second coming. Hardly are those words out when a vast image out of Spiritus Mundi troubles my sight. Somewhere in sands of the desert, a shape with lion body and the head of a man, a gaze blank and pitiless as the sun, is moving its slow thighs, while all about it reel shadows of the indignant desert birds. The darkness drops again. But now I know that 20 centuries of stony sleep were vexed to nightmare by a rocking cradle. And what rough beast, its hour come round at last, slouches toward Bethlehem to be born.
Hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. The part of you that is not alright, yeah, is also the part that loves the light. And the part of you that is suffering is the part that calls in change. And you don't have to feel ashamed. There is nothing to forgive. The part of you that is crying out is the part that wants to live, yeah. Hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. When your world is burning down, well, getting hot is a sane reaction, but one in need of action, because your spirit needs protection. So gather up your sinew and gather up your faction. Hope is not a feeling, hope is an action. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes from the place where the hurt comes. I said, hope comes. We are not all right. I said, hope comes. We are not all right. I'm gonna fall down on my knees.
That's not living.
I'm gonna say, will you help me please?
That's not living.
I'm gonna say I'm not all right.
That's not living.
I'm just trying to make it through this night.
I call this sermon Screaming Towards Liberation. That seemed like a good place to start. When I was young, I had the great privilege to travel in Europe a few times on student trips, the ones where we toured 6 countries in 3 weeks, experiencing the great cities and small, out-of-the-way tourist traps, staying in dorms and convents. My mother taught English at our local community college. Hooray for community colleges. She wanted to travel and she was resourceful. And so she learned about leading student groups. And for every 8 students she signed up, she earned a trip. And so my brother and I got to travel with her. And these experiences when I was, 12, 13, 14, changed my life and changed the lives of all in our family. We were traveling in the mid-70s, just 30 years after the end of World War II. Now, just think, 30 years ago from now was the end of the Cold War. So 30 years after World War II was very much in the living memory of the people we encountered and the stories that we heard. I remembered a sense of history and civilization continuing through conflagration. In the presence of ancient monuments, governments were new. We were in ancient places, but for example, Italy's government was formed in 1946. Germany was still divided into East and West. And we folks from Paris, Texas, thought that it was so groovy, and I mean groovy, that we were in Paris, France on July 4th, 1976 for the bicentennial. That was so cool. Our country, our government, was older, far older than these governments, even though we were walking through civilizations thousands of years old. There was a cognitive dissonance or a juxtaposition for me. I didn't know that word at 12 years old, but somehow my 12-year-old self internalized the message that governments do not last forever. That through conflagration, also known as Holocaust, institutions fall, chaos reigns, and then somehow order is restored in both permanent and precarious ways. Lives hang in the balance, and those with a certain kind of privilege may survive longer than others. But as I learned, visiting the concentration camp at Dachau, by then a sacred place of memory and teaching, economic privilege is no protection if the government of a strong man wants you gone. Those memories have come back to me this week. Much was made by Unitarian Universalists and other progressive ministers, including myself, that this Sunday the message would be the same, no matter the outcome of the election. We meant that no matter who won, the work of repairing the world would continue, that we would still need to dig in and continue to build the beloved community. And in some ways, that's very true. Right? We've still got work to do. No matter the outcome, we still have work to do. We are called to manage our cognitive dissonance, to accept both the power and the burden of our relative privilege, and to be willing to let go of certainty in an uncertain future. But it's different, and I can't pretend it's not. Something seems irrevocably lost. And those memories of new governments in ancient lands make me wonder, Can we really, and without hyperbole, imagine the death of a country? This country, I mean. The world's oldest democracy. We are by many decades the world's oldest democracy. Built on settler colonialism, chattel slavery, extractive capitalism, and constitutionalized patriarchy. Have we passed a point of no return? I don't know. I do not advocate anarchy. Please hear me. I do not advocate anarchy, but I understand those who do. I do not wish for the end of our constitutional democracy, such as it is, and I wonder, how long can the center hold? At some point, there will be an end to the United States of America. At some point, there will be an end to the United States of America, as there will be an end to everything. What will that look like? What's the end game of e pluribus unum? God, does it give you a little in your guts to really think about it? Not just hyperbole, not just I don't recognize this country, oh, it's but what would it really look like? And who will we be in that moment? I do need that coffee, Bradley. Thank you. Come on. Hope comes from the coffee cup. William Butler Yeats, a key figure in the Irish literary revival, wrote The Second Coming, the poem that Sarah read for us. He wrote this in 1919, after the end of the First World War, and as his wife was near death from influenza. She did survive. And as the Irish Republic was being born. It was first published in the Dial magazine, which was founded in the 1800s by Unitarians and Transcendentalists. But by 1919, it was a literary magazine. I still like the historical connection to that. Yeats' poetry reflects his belief in the cyclical theory of history, widening and widening in the gyre. And that in this cyclical theory of history, one historical era would be replaced by another of the opposite kind every 2,000 years. So there's a cycle, and every 2,000 years, the opposite would come round. So he's writing as a Christian in a period looking at the age of Christianity and Christ and seeing the opposite come around. He gives us this image of the spiritus mundi. Spiritus mundi is the world spirit or the collective unconscious. And this second coming as a rough beast, slouching toward a place of holiness, toward a new birth. I find much that resonates with me in this poem. Things fall apart, the center cannot hold, the blood-dimmed tide is loosed, and everywhere the ceremony of innocence is drowned. His dark mood matches mine. His vibe is my vibe. His despair is my despair. And yet, a further look at Yeats tells us that he was a nationalist, an authoritarian, that what he believed was slouching toward Bethlehem and birth was individualism and political liberalism. Damn. He saw fascist movements as the triumph of public order and saw democracy as a threat to good governance. I know. So why in the world would I include the words of a fascist authoritarian in such a sermon on today of all days? Because we make meaning of the ideas that we inherit. We make meaning of the words that we choose, because words and ideas, and scripture for that matter, don't only mean one thing, including the idea of this country. It means what we make it mean. Many of us are scared, and rightly so, of the rough beast of authoritarianism, the meanness, the high control, the call for conformity. We may feel as if we are somewhere in an origin story of a dystopian society, a science fiction where the rough beasts are triumphant and the impossibly rich, those who can control the satellites, can control the outcome of elections. This is not historical fiction or even speculative fiction, but actual history. All turning points in history ask the participants, who will you be? Who will we be in this moment? If we wonder what we would have done in the rise of previous authoritarian governments, say Germany in the 1930s, now is our very real chance to find out. I say to you here that here at the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of Ames, we will lean into kindness, compassion, courage, and love. We will lean into justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. Generosity of spirit, generosity in all the ways. I say that if you are gay, transgender, gender nonconforming, non-binary, we will keep this as a brave space for you. If you are pregnant and you need not to be, we will keep this as a brave space for you. If you are a refugee and afraid for your safety, we will keep this as a brave space for you. If you are lonely and afraid, we will keep this as a brave space for you. If you want to interrogate your own privilege and whiteness and sexism and complicity, we will keep this as a brave space for you to do so. If you want to imagine a better world for yourself, for your family, our community, our planet, we will keep this as a brave space and an incubator of ideas. And more than that, we will not back down on our public witness. We will say out loud in this community and this state that we are sex positive and queer affirming, and that we support reproductive justice, and that we are anti-authoritarian and anti-fascist, and we are pro-democracy and pro-healthy climate, that we support education and we fight book bans, that we support diversity, equity, and inclusion, that we resist racism and xenophobia and genocide, that we believe in the worth and dignity of every person, every person, every person. That we believe in a liberation that is collective. That our liberation is tied in a network of mutuality with all other people, and that privilege will not save us from fascism. We resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. Oh, we resist, we refuse to let hatred in. We rise up, we won't back down. We're in this till the end. Here's what you can do. Be connected. I believe we're going to be welcoming more and more people here as our community seeks out resources for healing in this horrible time. Consider being a greeter, part of the welcome team, part of the membership team. As we consider how we will make difference in ways large and small, consider joining our social justice circle or our dismantling racism team. Our caring network reaches out to folks in our congregation who need a little extra attention from time to time. Join that team. Our young ones are not just our future, they are our present. And they need all the love and care that we can give them. Consider leading our youth group and contributing meaningful time to our religious education program. Consider joining our leadership teams, the board or the nominating committee, the generosity team, many of our financial teams, the endowment team. Or becoming a regular office volunteer, or helping us plan for outreach into the community so that people know we are here. If you are joining us online, and it is possible for you to come and join us on site, please consider doing so. We know that many of you cannot, are not physically able, or you join us from far away. We understand that. And we love that you join us on Zoom. We do. Let's all wave to them. We love you, Zoom. And if it is possible for you to join us in this space, we need to see you. We need to put our arms around you. Or if you would prefer not a hug, we'll just fist bump. But we want to be with you if we can, sometime. Think about it. And we know that some of you have passed the time in your life where you can physically volunteer. And for some of you, your volunteer dance card is already full. Hear this call to connect in ways that are life-giving to you and your family. And think in terms of time being generous and expansive. And that we will need all of us to do this work ahead. Consider bringing your imagination to what we could be in the future and how we rise from despair. We gather up our sinew and we gather up our faction. Hope is not a feeling. Hope is an action. At the end of our service today, we're going to gather in a primal scream. I'm telling you this now so you can prepare yourselves in a few ways. If this might be triggering for you, if it might not feel good to you to be in a room full of people screaming, please feel welcome to leave the hall after our last song. If you stay present here and you're wearing hearing aids, you might want to turn them off or down. We don't want it to hurt. For those of you online, we hope you will join us in this scream. We're going to try to moderate our recording levels, our broadcast levels here in the room, but please bear with us if it's distorted. I'll direct us all when we get to this moment. Don't start screaming now. It's okay. Maybe we need science fiction, speculative fiction to imagine something beyond the current toxicity, a better politic, a different way. These are the words of Walida Imarisha in Octavia's Brood, science fiction stories from social justice movements. She writes, whenever we try to envision a world without war, without violence, without prisons, without capitalism, we are engaging in speculative fiction. Organizers and activists dedicate their lives to creating and envisioning another world, or many other worlds. Visionary fiction encompasses all that is fantastic, with the arc always bending toward justice. Once the imagination is unshackled, liberation is limitless. We believe in that right that Octavia Butler claimed for each of us, the right to dream as ourselves, individually and collectively. But we also think this is a responsibility that she handed down. Are we brave enough to imagine beyond the boundaries of the real and do the hard work of sculpting reality from our dreams? May we dream so boldly. May we be about the active work of hope. May it be so, and blessed be. We're going to sing hymn number 318, We Would Be One. Please rise as you are willing. Gratitude, and then I'll invite folks who do want to walk out to do so. Let's give our gratitude to our musicians, Amber Anderson, Deb Klein, Lori Allen, Amy Slagle, Madison Mayfield, Bradley Duckstein, and Elijah Umba. For our tech team, Titus Klinge and Dan Haig, our service facilitators, Sarah Carlson and Karen Bates, board member Jeff White, our religious education teachers, all the coffee servers and treat bringers, and especially the cleanup crew. It takes many hands, many hearts, and much talent to make Sunday mornings happen here, and we are grateful to you all. Yes. So I'll invite anyone who wants to step out to do so. Really, no judgment in any way if this does not feel good to you. The rest of us are going to get up from our seats, and we're going to try to ring this space. We're going to try to come around the outside walls, come up here, come all around. Find yourself a spot. Wishes might not like it. Yeah, it's okay. If you want to stay seated, that's fine. You can stay where you are. I just want us all to have room and to be able to see each other. Make sure the people behind you, there's nobody behind you who can't see. You can hold hands if you like, whatever you like. Let's do 3 good breaths together. Exhale. Give yourself a good breath in. Exhale. Breath in. Out. Inhale.
And this one, we're going to scream. Breath in. Need another? Breath in. Now, on this exhalation, we're going to hum. Pick any note you want. When you run out of air, breathe in and continue humming. Blessed be, and go in peace.